This is Kcpc class. It's the do-over, and it is Ventures 4, Part 2 for the 16th of June, and we are going to start on page 60. Ventures 4, page 60. Grammar focus. Clauses with until and as soon as. Dependent time clauses with as soon as and until can come at the beginning or end of a sentence. As soon as and until can be about the present time, the past, or the future. So if it's the present, regular. He, she, and it needs an S on the verb. If it's the past, ed, or the irregular. If it's the future, using will to show the future. So as soon as, which means right after. If it's in the present tense, this is how it's going to be constructed. As soon as Mr. Shamash finishes his lunch, Almaz leaves quiet palms. If it's the past, as soon as Mr. Shamash finished his lunch, Almaz left quiet palms. Finished, ed, the past. Leave, left, past tense. Future. As soon as Mr. Shamash finishes his lunch, Almaz will leave quiet plains. And here it's the present, but it's the future in the main clause. The other side is until, which is up to a particular time. Present, Almaz stays with Mr. Shamash until he finishes lunch. Past, Almaz stayed with Mr. Shamash until he finished his lunch. Future, Almaz will stay with Mr. Shamash until he finishes his lunch. So let's look at the examples. And by the way, who is Amash? Amash is his caretaker. And who is Mr. Shamash? Mr. Shamash is the patient. And what is quiet palms? Yes, it's the place or the community where Mr. Shamash lives. Number 2, complete the sentences with until or as soon as. Circle the time clause. If the time clause is at the beginning, what do you need to put? A comma after the time clause. If it's at the end, do you need any punctuation? No, no punctuation. Okay. A. Mr. Shamash is in pain. When will he start to feel better? He'll feel better as soon as he takes his medication. Number 2, how long will Mr. Shamash stay at Quiet Palms? He'll stay until his broken hip heals. So it is not a community. It seems more like a rehabilitation center or a rehabilitation community where someone would stay for a short period of time. Number 3, when can Mr. Shamash begin exercising again? As soon as Mr. Shamash feels stronger, he can start doing moderate exercise. One more. When does Mr. Shamash get ready for his walk? He gets ready for his walk as soon as Almaz arrives. Okay, so there we have 60. Let's go to 61. A little tiny bit more practice. Everyone, as soon as Charles arrives at work, he puts on his name tag. Charles doesn't put on his name tag until he arrives at work. So here's just one more little example of when to use as soon as and until. Let's go to page 62. Verb tense contrast. Grammar focus. Repeated actions in the present and past. In sentences that talk about repeated actions, the correct word order is subject verb plus the number of times plus the time expression. So we know about subject and verb, but the number of times comes before the time expression. The number of times answers the question, how often? The time expression answers the question, when. So we're kind of just going to swing across and read. This year, Sana volunteers at the homeless center once a week. This year, Shana is volunteering twice at the homeless center twice each month. Past, Sana volunteered at the homeless shelter 3 times last year. Present perfect, Sana has volunteered at the homeless shelter several times last year. Be careful about what we're putting there. So the perfect always has the word has or have. Past ed or irregular. Present happening now, ing and the helper or the auxiliary, and the present, which tells about a habit, is the present tense, and he, she, and it needs an S on the verb. Complete the story. Let's read this to give the practice for these verb tense contrasts. Sally Sutherland created Sharing with Sally, a volunteer organization that helps seniors stay connected with the outside world. The organization has delivered over 5,000 dinners to seniors so far. Sharing with Sally began 6 years ago, simple past. Several times a week, Sally and her volunteers deliver meals. This is a habit, present tense. Talk to seniors on the phone and visit the ones who can't leave their homes. Over 200 people volunteer at Sharing with Sally. Jake, a college student, volunteered all last year. Past tense, it says last year. He called elderly people on the phone once a week. Simple past. This is what he did. He did it once. We're talking about something that he did in the past, and it's over. And talked to each person. Simple past. He said it was a very valuable experience. Betsy, a 35-year-old mother of 2, has been volunteering for 2 years so far and loves it. Or Betsy, a 35-year-old mother of 2, that's it, has been volunteering. It's in the past, but it was continual, so it needs to be the perfect, and you're using the word has. Okay, 62, finished. Let's go to page 72. The grammar concern here is clauses of concession. Grammar focus, although. Use although to connect 2 clauses to show a contrast. The information in one clause is surprising or unexpected because of the information in the other clause. Although goes with the information that is known and not surprising. The known information. It takes 30 hours to drive from Denver to Los Angeles. Unexpected. William refuses to fly. Example, although it takes 30 hours to drive from Denver to Los Angeles, William refuses to fly. Known information. Jake sets his alarm clock every day. Unexpected information. Jake often wakes up late and misses his bus. Connected. Jake often wakes up late and misses his bus, although he sets his alarm clock every day. So it really means even though he does this, he is still late. So it says, which sentence is surprising or unexpected? Circle it. Then combine the two sentences. Use although in front of the sentence that is not surprising or unexpected. Everyone, Mrs. Sanchez can't operate her digital camera. She reads the directions many times. Example, Mrs. Sanchez can't operate her digital camera although she reads directions many times. You can also say even though. Next, Mrs. White's car has a GPS system. She gets lost all the time. So, which sentence is surprising? She gets lost all the time. That's the one you're going to circle. The complete sentence is going to be, although Mrs. White's car has a GPS system, she gets lost all the time. Number 3, Mr. Green doesn't use his microwave. He paid a lot of money for it. So it's going to be, although Mr. Green paid a lot of money for his microwave, he doesn't use it all the time. So next, number 4, Mr. Chung doesn't like to use it. Email is fast. What's known? Email is fast. What is the unexpected? Mr. Chung doesn't like to use it. So it's going to be, although email is fast, Mr. Chung doesn't like to use it. Okay, so let's now turn to page 74. Clauses of reason and concession. Grammar focus. Contrasting because and although. Use because to join two clauses in which one gives a reason for the other. Use although to join the clauses that contrast with each other. One is surprising or unexpected based on the other. Example, because cable internet is fast, many people want it. Although cable internet is fast, many people cannot afford it. Let's read a few of these sentences down here. Although Pam and Beth are sisters, they are very different. Pam is very modern. She loves electrical appliances because they are fast and convenient. It couldn't possibly be she loves electrical appliances although they are fast and convenient. No, that's the reason why she loves them, is because they are fast and convenient. For example, she loves her microwave because she can use it to thaw meat quickly. Next, she enjoys shopping for the latest kitchen devices, although some of them are very expensive. It couldn't possibly be she enjoys shopping because they're expensive. It's although. Beth has a different attitude about modern technology. She prefers not to use electrical appliances. For instance, she never uses a microwave because she thinks the radiation is bad. Okay, I think you've got it. Page 75. One last little example. Mr. Techie uses a smartphone to calculate because it's convenient. Mr. Non-Tech uses an adding machine to calculate, although it isn't always convenient. Okay, so that's 74. Let's go to 86. Subject pattern adjective clauses. Adjective clauses come after a noun and begin with a relative pronoun. Who, that, and which are examples of relative pronouns. Use who with people, which with things, and that with people or things. The example, the camera costs only $99. It is on sale. What is the relative pronoun talking about? Yes, it means the camera. Let's read. The camera, which is on sale, costs only $99. Or the camera that is on sale costs only $99. The clerk helped the customer. Who is the customer? A she. She lost her receipt. The clerk helped the customer who lost her receipt. Who is used with a person. The person is the customer or she. Next, the clerk helped the customer who lost her receipt. Again, the connector is who because the customer is a person. The clerk helped the customer that lost her receipt. That can be used with either a person or a thing. Okay, let's turn to page 98. That was 86. Actually, I've forgotten page 90, so let's do that. And this page 90, the information in the red line box. Sometimes an important word is replaced by a synonym. This makes the reading more interesting. For example, seller and retailer are two nouns that have the same meaning. So what is a synonym? Two words that mean almost the same. They say have the same meaning, but it's actually very, very close. Those that have the same meaning. So here it was the seller and the retailer. Okay, that's it for here. Now let's go to page 98. Verb tense contrast. Grammar focus. Present perfect and present perfect continuous. These are tricky. The perfect tense is easier to do in filling in the blanks rather than when you're creating your composition. The present perfect is formed by have or has plus the past participle. Use one of the present perfect. One use of the present perfect is to talk about recently finished actions, often with the word just, with no specific time of completion and actions. The present perfect continuous is formed by have or has and been and the present participle. The continuous is ing and the helper. Use the present perfect continuous to talk about actions that started in the past, continue to now, and will probably continue in the future. For example, the present perfect, recently finished action. Yolanda has just mopped the floor. It is clean now. Happened in the past, up until just now. Present perfect continuous, continuing action. Yolanda has been mopping the floor for 15 minutes. It happened in the past and it's still happening. She is doing it now. She has been mopping the floor for 15 minutes and is still doing it now. Let's read. Part 2. Daria Thompson is the owner of Daria's Donut Shop. She has been selling donuts at this location for more than 20 years. She's been doing it for the past 20 years and she's still doing it now. So it is going to be the present perfect continuous. Number 2. It's 7 a.m. Daria has been making donuts for 3 hours. It is continuous in the past and she's still doing it. Number 7, it's 7:30 a.m. Daria has opened the shop for customers. It was in the past and it's not continuing until now. And so it's going to be just the present perfect, recently finished action. Okay, that's it for now.